All right. Guess I'm live here. This is Thunderhands Live, and Another American Farce is the name of this video. I don't know. I'm still trying to see what's going on with this chat thing here. Hopefully people will show up and see, the deal is that if you want to get notified of when I go live, then what you have to do is, if you're a subscriber and you've already subscribed, you have to go to the little bell thing there next to the subscription thing, and then you'll get notifications. I have put out some flyers and stuff, and so sometimes people just pop up inadvertently, and sometimes there's a lot of people, sometimes there's no people, but it doesn't matter because this is going to be a video anyway, and it's easier to do a live stream, I'm finding out. So thank you. Somebody said I've been watching a lot of your videos. Thank you. Really appreciate that. Appreciate any feedback I can get, any questions you want to get. But until then, I'm going to talk about this latest American farce that we witnessed last night. To me, it's like mental masturbation. It's like, look at me. I'm the big guy on the block. I can shoot off missiles at some country that really did nothing wrong at all. It's just ridiculous, you know, and the more I see the actions of Trump, the less I like him. I don't even know if he has any more credence in my estimation. You don't do shit like that just to prove you're some kind of man or that you're going to take action because of this or that. And the whole thing was a false flag. The whole chemical attack thing was a false flag. It's proven. And so, you know, they knew that, and they knew the chemical inspectors were going to go in there and do a inspection. And so, and rather than wait, okay, does that show you the mentality of America, really? No patience whatsoever. Can't wait a day to avoid World War III. Really? Really? Can't wait a fucking day to avoid World War III. Put everybody's life in harm's way. Just because you got to be some kind of big blowhard show off, okay? And that's what Trump is. You know, I had high expectations for him. Better than Hillary, of course, any day, but and that whole criminal cabal. But I mean, if you're going to cave into the cabal, if you're not going to arrest people, if you're not going to follow through on quote unquote campaign promises, what the hell good are you? Why are you in there? A lot of people voted Trump in because they thought he was going to be friendly with Russia. Okay, they thought that he was going to kind of cool things down and chill things down in Syria. And actually, he was talking about pulling out of Syria. And then this happens, you know. So it's obvious that this so-called deep state, or Zionists, or whatever you want to call them, are hard at work trying to disrupt anything that he might do that is not going to promote warfare and not going to promote the military-industrial complex or whatever. But you know what? This shit's really getting old. I noticed somebody said that they're from Canada, Aboriginal. Yeah, that's my roots too. I have roots in Quebec, Métis. But anyway, back on the subject here. It's just a continuous tape loop. It's a it's a continuous tape loop of lies, deception, games. Let's say, for instance, that Trump and they warned Russia they were coming in. Incidentally, nothing. They didn't go anywhere near Russia, Russian interests. Okay, they didn't go anywhere near Russian interests, anywhere near the base that Russia has there in Tartus. 71 of the 100 missiles that were fired in there were shot down by a missile defense system that is pretty damn good. I just watched a video on some young reporter that was over in Syria, and he was just milling around with the young people over there, hitting nightclubs and talking to people, and they have nothing against America whatsoever, those people over there. No, the people that are civilians, actually, they have bars and little nightclubs, and I saw a picture of Jack Nicholson up on the wall, one of his weird pictures from a movie, and they're not anti-American necessarily. They just think America has it all wrong, and they do. See, that's the thing about some people in foreign countries. They think that America is this great big land of opportunity and land of freedom and land of hipness. It's really hip to be an American, I guess some people think. But, I don't know where they get that concept from, this whole Western thing. Just goes to show you how many people buy into bullshit, okay? And they let America slide on this stuff. And this video that I was watching, people are just out there sweeping their sidewalks this morning and acting like nothing ever happened, because you know what? They're used to this shit. They're used to missiles raining down on them and idiots coming in and causing problems. But they still manage to live life and carry on with life and go to have some fun and go to bars. And I wonder what Americans would do if missiles started raining down on their heads. I wonder what Americans would do. Would they be just going to Starbucks and all that shit as normal? I don't think so. People would be in a freaking panic here, okay? They would be hiding in their homes with their tails between their legs, and America does need some kind of comeuppance. I'm sorry, but it's just the way I feel, It's always needed a comeuppance. I mean, my people, the indigenous people of this land, realized that a long time ago. They need to get their asses kicked. They need to get their ass kicked up between their shoulder blades, good and hard. Do I want to see civilization annihilated and exterminated and nuclear war and all this stuff? No, of course I don't. I don't want to see that. I don't want to see my grandchildren perish in some kind of Holocaust or have to live in a nuclear winter. And you know what? It's scary. When people do this shit, when they shoot off missiles like this in this day and age with two nuclear superpowers going at each other's throats, it scares people. Puts them on edge, gives them an anxiety disorder, fear, all kinds of things happen to people because they're like, well, what's going to happen? Is Russia going to retaliate? Are they going to blow every freaking ship out of the water that we got? Which they could do. They have technology that's way beyond ours. It just shows you how stupid Americans are. And how do I know this? Because I'm a pilot, number one, and I delve into this kind of stuff, and I look into electronics and aviation and research different missile systems and jamming systems and stuff like that. So I know I'm not stupid. Most people out there don't have a clue that America isn't really as strong as they think they are. They're like the big blustery bully on the block that likes to intimidate kids. And half of them can't fight. Half of the kids probably could fight better than they could, but it's just their intimidation tactics, you know. So this is the situation that we have to live under because of ignorant fools. Okay, I have lost all respect for Trump. Well, you know what? I had a little bit of hope when he was on his campaign trail, and I didn't vote. I don't vote. I'm not political. I would never vote. I just watch things, and I'm like, well, yeah, this is sure a hell of a lot better than Hillary and Obama and that crew. Bunch of criminals. But you know what? I have to see some action before I make a decision on whether I think a person. I watch them. You shall know them by their actions. You know, you will know them by their actions. And I don't like this concept of like, oh, well, it's all just a game. And no, it's not, because you're fucking with people's heads. It's not a game, okay? Not to me, it's not. It shouldn't be. Is it a game to try to play along with bad guys and line them up all around you and have the deep state all around you and have a bunch of people that voted for you pulling for you, and all of a sudden they're losing their faith? Okay. But see, this is a good lesson. It's a good lesson to not put your faith in politics, because politics is. I had a good friend that gave me a definition, or gave people a definition of politics. The poly-ticks, okay? Many blood-sucking ticks. And these people don't have the best interests of the planet at heart. I noticed a comment here about everybody has to connect if we're going to survive. The problem is people aren't intelligent enough to connect. Okay, that's what the problem is. And you know why? Because they've been dumbed down by the mainstream media. They've been dumbed down by the mainstream media. They buy in, they drink the Kool-Aid, okay? Couldn't believe it last night. I'm sitting there and watching CNN, and they're sitting on there like this is some kind of football game or something. Oh, yeah, we're going over there again. This is getting so old because it's the same tape loop. We did the same thing in Iran. We did the same thing with Libya. And innocent people are getting hurt and killed, and kids and children. And yeah, that's right. It is the same old BS. It's the same old bullshit. Same old shit, different day. How you doing? Nice to have you on the chat. I don't know, I threw the I Ching last night and got some very sound advice from that. In case you don't know what the I Ching is, it's an ancient Chinese oracle that you throw with 3 coins, and it's based on synchronicity, and it's pretty right on most of the time. Probably all of the time. I don't know what to tell people anymore about this stuff. I don't even like talking about it. It's like, you know what? The best thing to do is keep an eye on it, of course, but try to detach from it. Really? I mean, come on. It's this same old crap over and over and over again, And nothing new under the sun, nothing new. It's corruption. And that's what it is. I do trust our native ancestral roots, but you know what? I also know the reality of the fact that you look at history, okay? You look at history and it keeps repeating itself over and over and over again. And it seems like the indigenous ones, the ones that love the planet, the ones that are wisdom keepers and take a serious view about protecting the planet, they're always in the minority and they're always screwed over, okay? And a lot of times these people get too complacent, okay? Now, I'm kind of a warrior, and I go round and round with my significant other, Natalie, on this because she tends to be probably more peaceful than I am. She's a warrior too because she stands up for things like DAPL and the pipeline issue and stuff like that. But I'm definitely more hardcore. Notice somebody said that they watch my cut hand. Sorry, about energy. Good. I'm glad you watched those. I'll probably be doing some more videos on energy and that type of thing. Because really that's what it's all about is energy. And see, stuff like this can change your energy. Anything that you allow to upset you in your chi, or the Hindus call it prana, can upset your energy, can throw you out of balance, okay? And any kind of fear, anxiety, tension disturbs your chi, okay? And it disturbs your shen, okay? And your shen, in Chinese medicine, is associated with the heart, okay? And so when shit like this happens, it disturbs your shen, okay? And you get out of balance, okay? Fortunately, I know enough Qigong and Tai Chi and Kriya and Chinese meditations where I can try to balance that out, and I do balance it out in myself because I find even somebody that is a practitioner of this stuff it can knock you off balance because you start getting too wound up. It's almost like watching TV, you know. You get so wound up in it, or you get let's say you get fascinated. Okay. See, I'm a strategist, and like I said, I am a warrior, and I have this mind where it's constantly in a position of trying to analyze other people's strategies. Oh, well, you know, what are you going to do? You got to have some kind of hobby. No, all kidding aside, I kind of get into that probably a little bit too much. But I do like to keep people informed. Okay. I think that it's our responsibility as wisdom keepers to do that. Those who know certain things should try to inform others about what's going on. And I try to do that, and I try to give commentary on all kinds of things. Okay, so how do you cancel out negative energy thrown at you? This is something I struggle with sometimes. What books would you recommend on meditation? Wow, there's so many books. But about the negative energy being thrown at you, half the time that negative energy is thrown at you, it's how much power you give to it. Okay. It's like, and I know it's hard sometimes not to give it power. Because I just went through an incident with a family member where they threw the most negative energy they could at me. And it does knock you out off balance. Okay. So what I would recommend is, number one, disconnecting from that energy in any way that you can and distancing yourself from it. And number two, doing some qigong exercises and some energization exercises and some tai chi stuff to balance out some breathing, some abdominal breathing. And I've done videos on that. A good way to do that is stand in kind of a slightly bent knee position with your feet parallel and about 18 inches apart, and breathe down into your abdomen. See, when people start getting uptight, they stop breathing. Or they breathe real shallow. And so what you can do to get grounded again is to breathe down into your dantian, which is about 1.5 inches below the navel. And it's not normal breathing like when you breathe into your lungs. It's more like dropping your diaphragm down, because when you drop your diaphragm down, your lungs fill up with air naturally. So your center is in that 1.5 inches below the navel, okay? And that's where you want to breathe. Knees slightly bent, arms down to your side, shoulders relaxed. Okay, that's a good exercise to start with. Tongue on the roof of your mouth, because there's a circuit that energy flows through up your spine, over the top of your head, and down the front, and then up your spine. So it's a circulation. Okay, what books would I recommend on meditation? Well, you know what? I'd go on Amazon and I'd Google, or not Google, but search for books by Mantak Chia, Mantak Chia, and other books. Professor Yang, God, the name slips me. He's a master that I always watch his videos. See, I had a lot of personalized training in the martial arts, but I'm always open and I'm always watching new stuff. And I have been practicing several spiritual practices. Okay, so the stuff I practice is Kriya Yoga, which is Hindu, but it's the same as Chinese yoga, which is the circulation of the microcosmic orbit, and that's moving energy up your spine and over the top of your head and then down all through your meridians in your body, acupuncture meridians. And you can heal yourself that way. Yeah, so what I'll do is when I get off this video, for those who asked about some books, I'll put some books out there. Speaking of books, I have a few books you might be interested in. And this might be a good time to mention my website, rogerthunderhands.com. It's new and it's up, and there's a lot of resources there, or let's say there's a lot of, so if you go to the products, you'll see all my books and CDs. And then if you go to some of the other pages, there's pages there for donation. That's another thing. I got an account on Patreon now, and so if you want to donate, if you like what I do, support it. Thank you for ordering one. I appreciate that. And my goal is just to get them out there, okay, because there's good information, like in Emergence. Okay, now somebody was asking about meditation, books on meditation. Now Emergence is a novel that I wrote about twin souls, and there's all kinds of but I consider it like a shaman's Bible, hidden as a novel, because there's from page 1 all the way through the book, I put all kinds of interesting techniques, okay, and There's a section on teaching the techniques. And it's about characters named Thunder and Natalie, incidentally. And how they meet and how they are destined to be wisdom keepers. And but there's a lot of stuff in there about meditation and even tantra, which is sexual meditation, or using the sexual energy to raise your consciousness. So there's a part in there on that. There's just all kinds of parts that are like hidden messages in there. And then there's some not so hidden messages, but it's a really good book. Listen to the Wind, Speak from the Heart is more of just a spiritual advice or thoughts for consideration. So you can get that on my website. Appreciate the comment about you ordering that. So what I plan on doing is maybe trying to make this a little bit more regular and answer questions about energy and answer questions about some of the practices that I've done and that I've been into. So that's what this is going to be all about. Talking about world affairs, maybe from a spiritual point of view. Or from a realistic point of view, and trying to wake people up as to what's going on. Because there's a lot of people, I understand that there's people on here that understand what's going on. Probably you wouldn't be here if you didn't kind of understand what was going on, because I think everything's for a reason, and people are going to get attracted to this channel or to me, but for a reason. And I'm going to start doing more live streams. And like I said earlier, you have to, when you subscribe, you have to click on that little bell so you get notifications. Somebody just asked me a question. Do you feel the Great White Brother is Jesus? See, the Great White Brother is something that's in Hopi prophecy, okay? And so I don't particularly think that it's Jesus per se. I think that a lot of people are wondering about that, okay, including myself. Bahana, okay, and so this some of this prophecy was given by and if you want a good book on the Hopi, it's Frank Waters' Book of the Hopi, or the Hopi people, Frank Waters. One time there was a minister that was, or somebody, I think it was a minister, or maybe it was just somebody that was going out to a writer or somebody who was going out to visit the Hopi people way back a long time ago. And he picked up this guy on the side of the road, and the guy was a Hopi medicine man or shaman, and he's the one that imparted a lot of prophecy to this guy. And a lot of that was about the webs that would weave themselves across the world, which could either be the internet, or it could be the matrix web of deception, or it could be all kinds of things. The Hopi do believe in emergence. They do believe in transitioning from one world to another. And that's their history, so they believe that. So I believe that that's probably going to come about in some way, shape, or form. And that also coincides with other prophecies about there being an awakening. So you have several holy books, or books, spiritual books too. Okay, so there's a difference. But you got the Upanishads, and you got the Holy Bible, and you got the Bhagavad Gita, and you got the Hopi prophecy, and so you got all kinds of things. that say that there is going to be some kind, even Paramahansa Yogananda and some yogis say that there's going to be a massive shift in consciousness, that we're in a dark area right now, that we're in a dark period of time. And that time in Hindu is called the Kali Yuga. And it's a situation that we've been in for a long time. And we will probably reach a critical mass at that point, or an emergence is the hope you say. So that things change, and but then again, you don't want to get caught up in this end time thing that some Christians are caught up in, where they're looking for Jesus to come down with his legions of angels on a white cloud or something. I don't look at it that way, and some of the masters that I study with look at it as a more of a it could be a spreading of Christ consciousness around the world, and it could be quick, it might not take a lot of time, because forces on other spiritual levels could make a change in mankind all at once. So could you imagine what would happen if everybody's third eye popped open all of a sudden, and they became enlightened, or they were able to see things that they couldn't see before all at once? I'm saying here, it would be like they were on LSD or hallucinating or something. But that would be like a second coming of Christ, so that's something that is a concept that I can get a handle on, something that I would like. I would rather see that than some kind of awakening through a nuclear situation or a warlike situation. Okay, I got another question here. You mentioned sex earlier. Why do people feel bad about it? To be specific, when human beings explore their body. Well, that's all from conditioning. That's all from societal conditioning, And I touch on that in my book, Listen to the Wind, Speak from the Heart. I talk about how everybody's a clear glass of water, when they're born, when they're babies. And into that clear glass of water, through society, societal conditioning, and parents and their religious beliefs, or their false beliefs, or their assumption of what they've been fed, and all these different things, society's look on this matter, and viewpoints on the matter. Actually, the body's a beautiful thing. And so Tantra uses eroticism, Tantra is a form of yoga, and Tantra uses eroticism and desire, which are inbred in every man and woman naturally. And they look at the spiritual side of it, and it's not a bad thing. It's not something that is you should be condemned for. Your body's not something that you should be ashamed of. And there's all kinds of practices, Taoist practices, that teach you to have a really enjoyable sex life with your partner, So these are the things that you want to probably look into. There is no it's funny, I got a thing, I have a board on Pinterest, and I have all kinds of stuff on there that's probably considered pretty radical and rebellious, and sexually oriented. And see, I look at the woman's body as a beautiful thing, and if it arouses something in me, well, that arousal is the opening of the base chakra, which is where the sexual energy comes from. And then you use that energy in meditations that I talked about before, with the raising of the Kundalini energy. which is something you learn from years and years of practice of Kriya Yoga and other kinds of yoga. Even Hatha Yoga activates it. People don't know that. Even the positions that they go to in their yoga class activates this primordial chi, okay, which is called Kundalini energy and is sometimes depicted as a snake going up a sword. That can be used to raise your consciousness, open your crown chakra, open your third eye. So when two people engage in this together and realize what's going on with it, then they can use their sexual life, their sexual activity becomes much more enjoyable. Okay, it doesn't become old. You don't get tired of it. It's always erotic. It's always interesting. It's always different. And in the Hindu, it would be a mixing of the Shiva Shakti energy. Shiva being the male energy and Shakti being the female energy. And so if you get by this conditioning, I was going to say on Pinterest, I lost my thought here. Let me finish. So they're sending me things that say, first of all, Pinterest sends you things that are very erotic, and then you post them on your pins on your board. And then they come back and say, you have put something in there that is not our public policy. So they set you up, basically, these people do. But anyway, it's kind of funny how they look at sex, how the Christian mentality looks at sex. So the biggest hypocrites in the world, they go out there and tell you that this, and this is bad, but behind the scenes, they do all of those things. So what can I say? No, you have to put it on a spiritual level. It's a spiritual and sacred thing, sex. And so if you look at a man's body, if you're a woman, or if you're man and you're looking at a woman's body and it arouses you, that's not necessarily pornographic, okay? That is a natural thing that you can use, okay, to increase your consciousness and increase your satisfaction and increase your love, okay? People are too anal retentive. They're too uptight about this stuff. And it's from religion, okay? Got news for you. That's where it's from. And you can't do this and you can't do that. You have to be a free spirit and you have to look into the spiritual side of things and not the low mentality of whatever, okay, whatever these people want to lay on you for a guilt trip, okay? Guilt trips are the last thing you need. Wow, I can't believe all the chat I'm getting here. Somebody from the UK, welcome. I'm glad to see that you're here. Unbelievable what, just to get off the subject that I was on there for a minute, unbelievable what these people do, okay, like the leaders of the UK, Theresa May and Trump, and these other idiots that get off on doing things from a power trip point of view where they don't even consult their own Congress, or they don't consider what Parliament has to say. Do you think things are just getting a little bit out of control here? Because they're basically throwing their own governing rules out the window. The constitutions of these different countries, they're going bye-bye, okay? Because these people are getting in there and they're on power trips. What can I tell you? It's getting worse. It used to be there was some kind of semblance of following the rules, but there's rules for them and then there's rules for the rest of us. And the rules for the rest of us are the ones that are we have to disobey or ignore, okay? Because if there's no rules for them, there's no rules for us. That's the way it is as far as being in compliance with anything that they have to do. Why? Because they're insane, okay? And they're psychopaths. And so they want to make you think that if you don't follow their way, that there's something wrong with you. Get over that. Get over it. Okay, so yeah, it's all a form of control. Well, you know what? I'm pretty amazed here that I'm getting so many people on the chat. You know, for a while there, I was like, "Where is everybody?" You know, I guess it's just a matter of timing. I don't know. I'm loving it though. Okay, so I think I'm gonna cut it short here. Not short, really. I've been on here 40 minutes. I got things to do today besides be on YouTube. Um, but I really appreciate everybody coming in today, and it's raises my spirits to think that maybe I'm out there and saying something that people can identify with, and because that's one of my purposes. So again, check out my website, rogerthunderhands.com, and also in the show notes, if you want to support what I do, there's a PayPal link. That's a one-time deal maybe, and Patreon, well, you know about that. That's you know how that works, where they maybe take $1 or $2 a month to help support different people in their endeavors and their creative endeavors. So anyway, I guess I'm going to I really hate to leave right now because I see all this stuff going on. But hey, watch, you people that are out there, subscribe to my channel, give it a thumbs up. And when you subscribe, there's that little bell thing next to it. And if you hit that, okay, it notifies you of things that I'm doing. Now on the live stream, what I might do is I might do just a short live stream and say, hey, I'm going to do one later. And give you a time, okay? Or I may just do a live stream, but at least you'll know, at least you'll be notified through your Gmail or whatever mail you use. If you click on that bell, notifications will be sent to you. So that's what I would say you would do. And that way you're going to know, and then I'll try to do other things like maybe put out some leaflets and flyers and stuff on Google, okay, that and send them to the same circles. That's another thing. You can always join my circles on Google. Okay, go to my Google profile and join the circles there. There's several of them, and you'll get this stuff that way. So anyway, I think I better close it down for now. I'm going to read all this chat that I'm missing some of this stuff here because it's coming in pretty fast. So I'm going to read it later and take some of your suggestions as to what I should do as far as letting you know and that type of thing, and subjects that you want to talk about. That are very interesting to you or that you have questions about. So anyway, I'm going to leave it there today. I do have things to do, so I will just say peace to you all. Wopila, which is in Lakota, means thank you for coming in and joining me today. And so I look forward to next time. Adios, people.